All right, welcome to our fourth video for animal diversity. In this video, we're going to finish off our discussion about protostomes and talk about the group ecdysozoans. And if you remember, ecdysozoans are the animals that increase their body size by molting. So think about an insect or a crab that as they get bigger, they will shed their exoskeleton and their body size will increase. And then they'll get to another point to where they have to shed their exoskeleton again. And so we're going to talk about two phylum or phyla that are in the group ecdysozoans. The first is the roundworms. And the roundworms are also referred to as nematodes. And so the phylum name is based off of that nematode name. So the phylum is referred to as Nematoda. And they get their name basically from the fact that they have a cylindrical body that's tapered at both ends. And nematodes are actually really important in ecosystems. All animals are really important, I should say, but nematodes are important because they serve as a method of decomposition. They're decomposers. But now they also have negative interactions with a lot of animals and plants because they also serve as parasites. In terms of species of nematodes, there are about 25,000 species that are known, and researchers, scientists that specialize in this group predict that there are probably 10 times that number that actually exist. We just haven't found them all. Nematodes, again, like with your annelids, can vary in size. You can be small, around a millimeter, or you can be a little larger, upwards to about 3.5 feet or 1 meter long. These are examples of some nematodes. So a free-living roundworm, which is shown here. You got your hookworms that are here. This is your hookworm. This image kind of reminds me of a vampire. I don't know why, but it always does. But this is a hookworm, and then here you have parasitic roundworms like you would find in uncooked pork or improperly cooked pork. And so the reason you have to cook your meat to a certain temperature is to make sure that you get rid of any bacteria. And if you have meat that has parasites in it, you just probably should stay away from that meat in general. And so the second group of ecdysozoans, which is by far the largest group of ecdysozoans, and actually the largest group of any animal group in general, are the arthropods. And they exist in the phylum Arthropoda. And arthropods get their name because of their jointed appendages. So you can think of arthropods as almost like a suit of armor. And if they didn't have their joints, they wouldn't be able to move in their armor, quote unquote armor, which are their exoskeletons, right? So those jointed appendages are really handy. And you can think of a suit of armor, right? If there were no joints in that suit of armor, you wouldn't be able to bend your elbows or your knees or your waist. And so those joints are very important. And the arthropods include a wide array of animals that range from crustaceans to spiders and scorpions, which are in the arachnid group, and then insects. There are an estimated of upwards to 1 million or more arthropod species that have been identified, and a majority of those are insects. And there are probably many, many more arthropod species that we haven't discovered. As made obvious by the sheer number of arthropod species, they're the most successful animal phyla, and they can be found pretty much everywhere around the globe, pretty much in all habitats. Arthropod animals, as I had mentioned, have these appendages that are jointed, and so they're segmented. And their appendages can also have be specialized. They can be adapted for a variety of different functions. And we'll look at a little bit of those adaptations as we kind of go through some examples of animals that come from the different groups of arthropods. And so we're going to look at some of the major groups of arthropods and some characteristics and examples of each. So the first group is arachnids, which are your spiders and scorpions. The second group are your crustaceans. The third group is the millipedes and centipedes. And then the fourth group are the insects. Now, overall, the general characteristics of arthropods is that they have this exoskeleton. They have an external skeleton. So they're invertebrates, right? They don't have that internal skeleton like vertebrates do. And this external skeleton provides protection, and it also provides attachment points for muscles that are used to move their appendages. And so over